Good evening. The daughter of a murdered Newry pensioner has said her family at times felt ignored by the criminal justice system during the trial of the woman who was convicted of the murder.
She has joined others, including victim support, in welcoming a review by the independent watchdog Criminal Justice Inspection, which says victims and witnesses in court cases should receive better treatment.
Our Home Affairs correspondent Vincent Kearney reports.
Mother of 8, Maura Rankin, seen here playing with her grandson, was beaten to death with a crucifix on Christmas morning 3 years ago. 2 months ago, her neighbour Karen Walsh was found guilty of the murder and has been sentenced to a minimum of 20 years in jail. One of Maura Rankin's daughters today met victim support to discuss how the family was treated during what she describes as a long and torturous legal process.
Initially, you were made to feel that you didn't have a role, that the state prosecutes the criminal and the families and the victims don't have any role. At best, you're ignored, and at worst, you're treated, you're seen as a nuisance. You were in limbo all the time. You couldn't make any plans. You couldn't get information. There was a real lack of communication throughout the whole process.
That experience is far from unusual. An inspection report published today says more needs to be done to improve the treatment of victims and witnesses involved in court cases. It criticises the length of time it takes for cases to be completed and the lack of communication, which inspectors say increases anxiety and trauma for those involved. The report recommends a single point of contact for victims and witnesses to get the information they need.
What they lack is a liaison person, an advocate, somebody that can link up with the family, answer questions and explain what is going on. And that's what we found. It took us a long time and a lot of digging before we could build the contacts.
Not all crimes are as brutal or as high profile as the murder of Maura Rankin. But the victims of other crimes like robbery and assault often also feel marginalised by the criminal justice system.
The author of today's report says that concern is shared by many who go through the court system.
The justice organisations need to make an extra effort to recognise the impact that crime has on individuals and to develop what should be a more personalised service and deal quite often with some of the more emotional impacts of the crime in individuals who have entered into the justice system through no fault of their own.
The report also recommends improved services for witnesses who at times find themselves sitting beside defendants they're due to give evidence against.
Justice Minister David Ford has welcomed today's report and accepted its recommendations. He said all parts of the criminal justice system are committed to improving the treatment of victims and witnesses. Vincent Kearney, BBC Newsline.